Well, Tokyo Toy Show is happening right now in Japan. We have some new information about another future upcoming event that will be happening in the month of September. A long-form expo, almost a pop-up museum in a kind of way, of the Transformer Expo 2024 that will be happening September 13th to September 29th in Tokyo, Japan of this year. And at Tokyo Toy Show, there was a little bit of a reveal of one of the exclusive items, actually quite a few, but we'll get into that in a moment. But one of these specific items that will be available to pick up and order at the Transformers Expo 2024, an important item to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Transformers brand. We are talking today about the Manju Netsuke Convoy, aka Optimus Prime. Now you're probably wondering, what is a Manju Netsuke? Like, what is that? And why are we talking about this item? Why is this so important that Protoman is going to do a little Japanese history lesson today on this silliness? Well, there's a lot of layers to this. Number one, a Netsuke, to begin with, is a very Japanese piece of paraphernalia in history. During the Edo period of Japan, long before Western clothing concepts like pockets and stuff like that really started to lord over their fashion sense, people would carry their money around in little satchels or inros, which were like these little boxes that they'd hold their coins in Japan. And those boxes or satchels would be kept on a cord, and that cord would hang off of their obi, or their belt on their kimono, by a little netsuke. And these netsukes had little designs on them or styles, which pretty much almost doubled as a belt accessory. And that was that. And by the late 18th century, kind of went out of fashion. Pockets kind of became the thing, and wallets and everything like that. And the netsuke kind of was relegated into a more refined, almost like where cufflinks are today as Westerners, where you don't really need cufflinks today, but it's almost like a status symbol in a lot of ways. And, there's many different styles of netsukes, and each one of them has their own different, designs and expectations and conveyance, and certain ones that are shaped like certain things have different word plays on what they're trying to convey by what they wear on them. And we have here today a Manju Netsuke, and a Manju Netsuke takes its name Manju from the Japanese confection, which is like for lack of better words, a Japanese rice cake. And the Manju is shaped like that, so that's where it gets its name from. And a Manju Netsuke implies that it's sweet, like the rice cake, or purely good. So I guess that's kind of conveyed there with the supreme commander of the Sabatrons, or the Autobots, in that of Justice and Optimus Prime and Convoy. So why do I bring up all of this madness? So we have this Manju Netsuke Convoy, aka Optimus Prime, that is going to be happening. It is going to be exclusive to the Transformers Expo in Tokyo 2024 next month. And yeah, so how much is this going to cost for this little transforming Netsuke, this Manju Netsuke? Well, it's going to cost you 660,000 yen, or about, in exchange, $4,500 USD. Now, you're probably wondering, how big is this thing? Why is it so expensive? Why do I stop caring now for something that looks like it transforms like, dare I say, an old Cosmos figure? Well, probably because of how this is going to be manufactured. How you get these is you go to Transformers Expo 2024 and you have to make an order for these. These are made to order. There won't be inventory waiting. They will be made to order and made by hand. Now, I can't confirm this, but most Manju Netsukes are made with ivory. So that might actually explain why these are so pricey to begin with, because they're probably going to have maybe ivory involved in the manufacturing of this, carved from ivory, and that's what's going to make it this important fashion piece, if you will. very, very unique to say the least. Now, I could say without a doubt now at this point, and I've said this a few times on the podcast over the past, 13 years we've been doing this. This is without a doubt the most expensive, out-of-the-box, sold brand new, base price Transformer item we've ever had. We've had a lot of statues throughout the years that kind of top at that $2,000, $2,500 mark. We've had some transformable items like HasLab Unicron that tops at that $600 to $700 range. But we've never had a transforming item from Transformers that isn't a statue that is that kind of money. $4,500 and again, made to order. How many of these are going to be ordered? What if only 60 or 50 rich businessmen order this? Then there's only going to be like 50 or 60 of these in the world, pretty much. So that's pretty wild, and it's crazy because when you really think about like what $4,500 gets you in the Transformer world, it gets you anything. Secondary market, we're talking like a perfect mint in box, FAA graded, sealed, never opened Optimus Prime or Minerva from Master Force, or like we could go deep into like a Black Zarek or something, or a Grand Maximus. You could get any of those things with $450. So $4,500, excuse me. So that's pretty wild. And again, if you are somehow interested, this is going to be at the Transformer Expo 2024. It's not going to be very large either. It's probably going to be as large as a Legend scale Cosmos. So imagine that at that price. But again, I'm imagining, it's not confirmed, but I'm imagining Ivory is going to be involved with this, and that's a big part of why it's going to cost so much. Let's talk about on the cheaper side of things. We're going to go from $4,500 to only $5. We have other exclusives that have been revealed that are going to be at the Transformer Expo, and another Takara Tomy Transformers collaboration again, and another Takara Tomy collaboration that's very Japanese in origin and culture. We have the Transformers X Rody collab. So both Rody and Transformers share a 40th anniversary in 1984. And so for 2024, they want to do a collaboration together. So what is this horse-looking kind of thing? And this is probably confusing to a lot of people. So imagine like a Japanese version of a rocking horse for kids, but with a more blow-up, oversized yoga ball kind of filled with air concept. And you just kind of bounce around on it, and it's promoted as helping with, balancing and gymnastics and all kinds of stuff like that for Japanese children when they're in their preschool years. These became crazy popular in Japan in the 80s, and later on became these cultural icons and an image in Japan. And Roddy specifically just became this kind of thing that kids always remember and adults always remember growing up with. And in the last 20 years or so, Roddy started to become really popular within the vinyl and Art Deco collectible scene. Like, let's talk about like Tokidoki and Kid Robot and stuff. And so you have a lot of Roddy-shaped items that have all kinds of different branding or companies or characters or coloring, and thus making them collectible. So after all of that said, now we're going to be getting a Transformers X Rody. And unlike the Netsuke we just talked about before, it's only going to be 660 yen each, about $5 USD. They're going to come in 3 different styles: G1 Convoy, aka Optimus Prime, G1 Megatron, and G1 Bumblebee. There's going to be other collaboration items also available at the expo in relation to Roddy, like stickers, acrylic keychains, even for the coming school year, file folders for the kids, also in Convoy, Optimus Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee style. So that's pretty cool. Again, that's leaning more again in a very Japanese collab item. That seems to be kind of the conversation this weekend, so to speak, with all these collab items. They've all been very Japanese in origin and speak more of the Japanese audience, even if we all love Godzilla and some of the other stuff. There's tons of other items that are going to also be available exclusively on site at the Transformer Expo, but we'll probably cover those in a future segment because we do have more reveals coming this weekend from the Tokyo Toy Show and TF Expo. So we will see what happens with that. Again, tomorrow is the Transformer Slag podcast Saturday night live stream. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to check that out. We'll definitely have updates from the Tokyo Toy Show, from stuff that's going to be revealed probably in a couple hours when they open up on the other side of the globe, and definitely tomorrow and moving forward. So be sure to come in for the live stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll talk all about that, all the new reveals, all the new stuff. We got that Macross one, the Monster Hunter one from Capcom, so much stuff to talk about. So we'll see you then. Thanks again for listening to the Transformers Slag podcast, and I'll talk to you in the near future. And hey, Roddy, how did you miss out on doing a Hot Rod Rodimus crossover? Anyways, I'll talk to you in the near future.
제자리에서 콩콩콩 뛰어볼게요. 시작! 자, 제자리에서 콩콩콩콩콩